Hello, I'm Omer Raines, hosting today Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. We've got a great show in store for you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Again, I'm Omer Raines, and we have with us today John O'Brien in lieu of our regular sidekick and benefactor, Hugh Roy Marshall, and our special guest today, Dr. Alan Walker, the new president of Sierra Nevada College at Lake Tahoe. So we usually start the program with an explanation of why we do Old Tales of Nevada.
That's
John,
right.
Could you do that?
I'll do it, and I'll try to do it as well as you, Roy, does, okay? But thanks for having me on the show today, and I'm glad you're hosting instead of me. I don't have any pressure on me. And I get to meet Dr. Alan Walker, the new president over there at Sierra Nevada College, so I'm going to enjoy this whole exercise. But the reason we do the show, as Roy has always said, is because we're trying to build pride in Nevada. And we try to do that by letting people know what the history is of Nevada, because we have such an important history. We're very important not only to the United States, but also to the world, because of all the gold and silver and all the technology that came out of this state and has spread throughout the world. Much of it started in the 1880s, is still being used today in the mining industry. So we contribute a lot to the economy of the world, to the technology of the world, and even to the education of the world. A lot of good things happening here in northern Nevada with our universities and our colleges, and especially with this up here in the lake, the Sierra Nevada College. So all of this brings us pride, and hopefully if we have pride in where we live and what we're doing here, we're going to take better care of our fellow man, better care of our properties, our businesses, and it's all for the good of everybody who lives here in Nevada. So that's why we do the show. And I might just mention that Roy has a couple of enterprises along the way up there at the Comstock. He has the Marshall Mint and the Silverland Inn and Suites, and that's what he always talks about as well. And if you want to spend a couple of great days learning about history in the Comstock, the Silverland's where to stay. If you want to get some gold and silver right from the Comstock, you can get it at the Marshall Mint.
Anyone who hasn't been to Virginia City should go.
Exactly.
Spend a weekend. If you have guests from afar, they definitely should see it. Great history.
In fact, you get a lot of folks that stay here at the lake that make a trip up there as part of their vacation. They go up to the Comstock.
I need to add one thing, because Nevada is increasingly important.
Good.
It's had a great history, but with Tesla and others coming in, interestingly enough, what's it called? It's not even in Washoe County. It's out in Story County.
It's Story County.
It's the Tahoe-Reno Industrial Park.
Right.
That's where the Gigafactory is going in,
Well,
and the Tesla's amazing.
Well, you know why they mention Tahoe, don't you? Because of what we see behind us.
It is because of this national treasure.
We want to be connected. That's
and that leads me right over to, can I call you Alan?
Please do.
Leads me right to Alan, because he is president now of the only college that's nestled near the shores of this national treasure, Lake Tahoe. And I need not say much other than, arguably, it's the most famous and most beautiful lake in all of North America.
They say it's the most photographed area in the world. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's what I've been told.
But let's go to Alan. Alan, tell us a bit about your background. You know, where you were born, where you grew up, family, things of that nature, and then we'll go into your schooling, your education.
Thanks for having me on the show. I've been looking forward to it. You know, I started out growing up, I was what they call an Army brat. My father spent 30 years in the Army, and we moved around literally all over the world as I was growing up. In fact, one time I counted it up, and I think we moved about 17 times before I left for college. Some of those years were spent overseas. My mother's from Germany, and her whole side of the family are Germans. They live over there. In fact, German was the first language I spoke, followed by Italian.
Wow.
We lived in northern Italy, 2 different places, and then came back to the States for a while, and then went back to lived in Izmir, Turkey for a couple of years. Spent part of my high school years in Izmir, Turkey, before coming back and finishing high school and then going off to college.
Where'd you go to high school?
Went to high school in Lakes High School in Tacoma, Washington. Go Lancers.
And then you went to college?
Then I went to the University of Idaho. Great school. My father attended
BA there?
I got my BA there and my master's from the University of Idaho, and also an associate's degree from the College of Southern Idaho in fire science. After finishing those degrees, along the way, I spent the next 20 years associated with the municipal fire service.
Wow.
Most of that had to do, I spent actually as a director of several state fire training academies whose mission it was to train firefighters and allied emergency response personnel.
How about that? I was a fireman in the Air Force for 4 years.
Oh, right.
Yeah, structural and on the flight line.
You bet. You bet. You know, there's been days too when I was pretty convinced that it was more safe running into a burning building than it was being a college president.
Yeah, I think so.
But it was a great career. I really enjoyed it, and I reached a point after about 20 years. I reset some career goals and decided I had been around universities in the capacity that I was at, running training academies, and decided I wanted to become a college president, and achieved that goal for the first time in 2004.
Before you get there, where did you get your PhD?
University of Kansas.
Okay.
Go Jayhawks.
Yeah, Jayhawks.
Right. Great school. I got a PhD in university administration.
Mm-hmm. Wilt Chamberlain was ahead of you.
Wilt Chamberlain was way ahead of me. But I spent time at University of Kansas and then LSU down in Baton Rouge, and then Western Michigan University before I got my first presidency at a 4-year private institution in the state of Iowa, where I spent the next 8 years.
Wow.
As the president?
As the president.
How did you fit that all in? You only look like about 35 years old.
It's not the age, it's the mileage.
The mileage, yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah, I've packed a lot of interesting experiences into my career. It's been a great journey, and you know what? I've been really fortunate over the years to have worked with great teams of people and to have worked for great leaders that I learned a lot from along the way. So I owe a lot of people, and it's been a lot of luck and being in the right place at the right time. But
for sure,
I'm interested. After several years as president of Upper Iowa College or University, didn't you end up with Shawnee State University in Ohio? Yeah,
went to Shawnee State, did some consulting after Iowa, and then went to Shawnee State, which is a public 4-year institution, university in southern Ohio, right on the Ohio River. Pretty country.
You never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's got an enrollment of about 5,000 students.
Really? Not that small.
So it's pretty good size. Great experience there. Being able to use some things that I did there as I come to this new responsibility. So that's where I moved from. In fact, coming to Sierra Nevada College, I decided that probably the best way to do that was to ride Highway 50 from Ohio all the way to Carson on my Harley. So
wow. Is that what you did?
I started off with September 12th and arrived on September 19th or after a week on the road.
Well, now wait. Coming from the Ohio River area of southern Ohio to Lake Tahoe, that must be close to 2,500 miles.
About 2,400 miles. I had help, though. Tim Coey from the college, who runs our ski business management program,
Right.
Bob Hall, who's a member of the trustees, and Lee Felch, who runs a company in Reno. They rode out and met me in Ely, Nevada, the night before I rode in. Then
you were most of the way here.
Rode in with me, so I had an escort.
Yeah, I didn't know 50 went all the way over to Ohio.
50 goes all the way to Washington, D.C.
No kidding. It had to be one of the first.
It's one of the few highways that goes clear across the United States because it goes into the Bay Area. And I've ridden this section between Ohio and D.C., so now I've ridden the section from Ohio to here, and I have one more section to do. Then I can say I've ridden the whole.
Was it as lonely going across?
Boy, you know what?
Other states as it is Nevada.
It's a beautiful ride. I really had no idea it was as nice as it was.
Yeah.
Colorado was fantastic. It gets pretty lonely. Between Utah and Nevada, that stretch between Utah and coming into Ely is pretty sparse. And then, of course, the famous section, the loneliest road.
Yeah.
But I had company by then. So
Yeah.
Well, now you've got to be the first and perhaps only university president ever to ride a Harley Davidson to a new job.
that might be.
Have you ever gone to Sturgis?
I've been to Sturgis many times. In fact, I went this year in August. It's always the first
75th anniversary.
75th anniversary. There were reportedly 1.5 million bikers who converged on Sturgis this year.
Amazing.
Everybody wanted that 75th.
I've got a question I
t-shirt.
wanted to ask for a long time. A really good friend of mine for a long time was Evel Knievel.
Oh yes.
And he used to encourage me to go up to Sturgis. So I went up one time, not on a motorcycle. I was actually camping up in that area. I was at the Pine Ridge Reservation, Lakota Sioux, and I drove over to Sturgis, and it was so much smaller than I expected. It was about, 7,000 people?
Normally, it's about 6,000 or 7,000 people. All right, except for Bike Week.
So with 1.5 million bikers, it must be like Woodstock.
It is the Iron Man for bikers.
Yeah,
really. It's the Burning Man for bikers, sort of.
Anything goes. Almost.
Most of them are there. Very few are actually staying in Sturgis. I usually stay in Hill City, as a matter of fact, and most of them are staying at private campgrounds. So that's where you'll find
No, they'd have to.
Yeah. Do you do street vibrations as well?
No, it was happening after I got here, but I didn't make it down there. I've been a little preoccupied with this thing called Sierra Nevada College that began officially on Monday, September 21st.
You're on the clock, right?
That's right. So the bike is put away.
Well, I know you got here in time for the great talk by Isabel Allende.
The day of.
Was that the same day?
The day of.
Because that's the first time I saw you. You got
right.
to introduce her, and I thought, my God. I thought he was on the road someplace.
I had arrived a couple hours just before the start of that event. That's right.
Wasn't that a great program?
Oh,
we had
fantastic.
over 1,000 people watching.
Tremendous speaker,
she
tremendous
of course,
personality.
is one of the great authors. And she's Chilean-American, but she has the U.S. Medal of Freedom.
That's right.
President Obama, and she's in the Arts and Letters Science Hall of Fame.
And it's,
she's
that event,
just amazing.
That event was a great example of the kind of thing colleges bring to the community.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
we have to take a break, Omer.
We will
Not that
do
I
it.
want to be the host, but I
Please,
want to help you out here.
Please stay tuned. We're going to be right back after a short break. Welcome back to Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. We're talking to Alan Walker, Dr. Alan Walker, president of Sierra Nevada College. I'm really curious, being a university president already, what occasioned you to make application for the presidency of Sierra Nevada College?
That's a great question, and there's really two dimensions to that that entered into my thinking. One along the sort of the professional lines, and one having to do some personal reasons. Professionally, as you pointed out, I had reached a goal that I set for myself in becoming a president of a university. So it wasn't about climbing to the next rung for me. It was really about finding another presidency and all about fit. Mm-hmm. The right kind of institution at the right kind of place, poised in the right kind of manner to grow and to reach the next level in its development. I've always looked for those kind of opportunities, and Sierra Nevada College really fits that profile. Mm-hmm. On a personal level, though, in terms of fit, and as I was looking for an institution where I felt like I would fit in with the culture and the history, Sierra Nevada College and I have a lot in common. First of all, having gone to school in Idaho, and my wife being from Washington State, we had had a long-term goal of coming back to this part of the country. Mm-hmm. In fact, this is the first time in 27 years that I've lived within a day's drive of my parents.
Hey, how about that?
Having traveled around the country and lived in
by motorcycle or car?
By car. And the other thing that I thought was a great fit, when you think about Sierra Nevada College, you think about not just the academics, but also the extra and co-curricular things that Sierra Nevada College is really known for. Mm-hmm. Skiing, the outdoor element, the whole Lake Tahoe lifestyle. And growing up, I certainly lived that kind of lifestyle. I've been a wilderness backpacker. I was a search and rescue team leader when I was an undergrad at the University of Idaho. I've sailed, I've scuba dived. I ride a Harley in the summer, and in the winter I ski race, downhill ski race in NASTAR.
Wow!
And so all of those things really exemplify the kinds of things that student, faculty, and staff also engage in at Sierra Nevada College. So, when I looked at the whole thing from a professional standpoint and a personal standpoint, it was a very easy decision to come to Sierra Nevada.
Well, needless to say, Lake Tahoe may be the greatest mecca for sports and recreation in America.
No question about it. And Sierra Nevada College is unique. There's several thousand private liberal arts colleges across the country, and many of them share a lot of the same traits and characteristics. But, I can count on one hand how many private liberal arts, four-year liberal arts colleges there are in a venue like you have here.
Aren't they
like
in inner city?
There's only one of those.
You wouldn't even have to use a hand.
That's right. There's only one of those.
That's right.
And so it is truly unique. And that was a real attraction.
Aren't most of those kind of colleges near a city or in a city more of a urban setting rather than what we see here?
Well, sure. Take Iowa, for example.
Yeah.
Iowa has maybe a slightly higher population than Nevada, but it has 33 private four-year liberal arts colleges. I mean, almost every town has their own college in Iowa.
Amazing.
In addition to the three four-year public institutions, and then a huge network of community college and technical schools.
Yeah.
So
how many do we have here in Nevada?
Well, I can answer that. That's a pretty easy. That's an easy number, also.
One.
That's right.
One. That's it, huh? One.
That's one.
What you just said about Iowa would be true of Ohio as well.
There's room to grow.
Oberlin, Antioch.
Absolutely.
Kenyon. You can go right down the list.
Exactly. You sure can.
How come Vegas doesn't have something like this?
Well, actually, he can speak to that because we
I don't
now,
want to get ahead of you, but
the Sierra Nevada College now has satellite campus.
That's right.
In Las Vegas.
And that's one of the strengths of the colleges, and also one of the unique features, the fact that it has a center in Reno, a center in Vegas, and those centers play a huge role for the state of Nevada, especially as it relates to teacher education, teacher training. As you know, that's a real issue these days. The shortage that we all hear about, especially in the Las Vegas area. Mm-hmm. So we're there playing that role, as well as some online presence.
Great.
So is your wife also an outdoor enthusiast?
She is.
Great.
Absolutely. She's also a backpacker, camper.
Oh, fantastic.
Loves all that, and she's looking forward to getting out.
So this
here.
venue fits the two of you like a glove.
It absolutely sure does. Yeah.
Great.
Of course, you'll be busy. You won't be able to imbibe in all of this recreation for a little while, I don't suppose, right?
Well, as a matter of fact, we have our first bus full of students that we're taking up to Mammoth in about 16 days or so, November 13th. So I'm on the bus to Mammoth for the first skiing of the
They're
season.
more apt to have snow there than here.
Yeah, they're a little higher, and they open up, typically open up a little earlier.
Well, you know what I heard the other day, Omer, was that Mount Rose was going to try to open up by the end of the week.
Oh, I heard that as well.
Yeah, I didn't see any snow when I was driving by there today.
Well, the majority of the resorts around here, as you probably know, manufacture. They make their own snow if they have to, and they're going to have to.
Well, they have to do that in Ohio as well.
Yeah.
There's only one ski area in Ohio.
Yeah, I was going to say there's no hills in there.
Well, they've got hills, but
It's not always how high the mountain, but how deep the valley.
That's
But anyway.
right.
Well, look, tell me about your initial impressions, of the Board of Trustees, of the administration, of the faculty, and most important of all, the students.
The other thing that's a great question, because the other thing that I found very attractive and I was impressed with, beginning with the Board of Trustees and the search committee, which was made up of Board of Trustees, faculty and staff representatives, they really impressed me with the initial interview, which was an airport interview back in June or July. I have found the board to be extremely committed to the college, a very talented group of individuals, all of whom have been successful in their own right. They bring a lot of experience, and they have made a tremendous contribution to the college over the years. I've found faculty to be no less committed than the board, and equally talented. They love teaching, and that's what Sierra Nevada College really does best. And the students have been a lot of fun to get to know, and I've gotten to know a lot of students because currently I'm staying in one of the residence halls in a visiting faculty suite. Okay. And so I'm eating in the cafeteria, and I virtually live among the students right now.
It's actually good food there.
It actually is very good food there. I've been impressed.
Now, are you teaching any courses? I know a past president was up there. He taught some courses. So
occasionally, I've been known to do that. In the first, early onset of being a new president, there's really not much time to do that. Right. I've got other priorities, a lot of which has to do with getting to know the college, getting to know the community, getting to know alums, and so forth. That's a pretty busy agenda for the first year or so. Sure. But I've taught before, and I would enjoy doing that again.
Having gotten to know some of the students, what's the quality of the student the composition of the student body right now?
The students, I think, are the kind of students that would appreciate and be attracted to Sierra Nevada College. They're very good academically, but also very active in terms of outdoor pursuits and activities. Sure. And just a fine student body. Like I said, I've literally been living among them for the month I've been there, and I've really enjoyed that.
And quite a few of those I know who come from abroad come because of the skiing opportunity.
Well, that's right. Some of them are members of the ski team, and they're recruited to come here to do that.
Well, talk about the sports program at the college.
The sports program is growing. As you probably know, Sierra Nevada College became an NAIA school. And is part of the CalPAC conference.
Mm-hmm. CalPAC, never heard of that.
CalPAC conference.
It keeps changing, though.
Mainly California schools and a couple of schools in Arizona make up the CalPAC conference. One of the things I'll be doing through the winter is visiting those schools and meeting my counterparts there. Mm-hmm. And I think that was a great strategic move for the college to get into that conference. And of course, everybody knows that Sierra Nevada College for decades has been famous for its ski and snowboard
national champions,
which year after year. I mean, one of the first things when I Googled Sierra Nevada College that popped up on the screen was their ski team, and because I'm interested in downhill ski racing and a participant in that sport, obviously there was an attraction.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm looking forward to running some gates with the team when they start practice or mid-December.
It's fascinating to walk on campus and all of a sudden you're meeting somebody from Norway, from Switzerland, from Slovenia, from Croatia. Wow. Well, you're here.
Now, do you have liaisons with all of the ski areas for training and so on and so forth? Do they work with you on that?
Yeah, they do, and our team competes all over the country, and so they're in Colorado quite a bit, and they'll be in Squaw in January, I believe, and so forth.
Do you have a certain mountain you train on, or where do you
absolutely. Diamond Peak is their training course.
Okay.
They've got a great course set up there. In fact, that's one of the reasons I bought a season pass at Diamond Peak this year, is because I do intend to be up there and get some tips from them.
Sure.
Let's talk about that a bit more when we come back. We're going to take another short break, and then we'll be back. Welcome back, folks. We are continuing our discussion with Dr. Alan Walker, president of Sierra Nevada College, Tahoe. And we were talking about sports when we took this short break. That program, the sports program, is more than just skiing, and it's expanding. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, the latest expansion we've made is with lacrosse teams, men's and women's lacrosse, golf. Part of that was going into the NAIA, certainly contributed to that growth. But it's a good strategic move, and I think it will continue to make a contribution to the college moving forward in terms of enrollment and raising awareness and so forth, particularly being in a conference. Definitely will.
Yeah, that helps a lot, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's important to realize that summertime recreation is just as important as wintertime here.
Oh, no question about it. The lake brings all of that, and backpacking and so forth. In fact, one of my first activities, I think the first week and a half after I got here, was to go on a hike with some students and a staff member up to Ellis Peak.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have cross-country teams, things like that?
We have a cross-country as well.
I think it would be great for that kind of thing.
Sure, absolutely.
Very competitive.
So yeah, the athletic program, as it is in a lot of colleges, is a significant part of what is offered in terms of the whole collegiate experience, if you will. Sure. And you're talking about a third of the student population on our campus in Incline Village are student athletes.
Wow, didn't know that.
One of the impressive things about Sierra Nevada College is the extent to which you've made collaborative arrangements with a lot of other institutions and colleges around the land.
Exactly. The premier one is UC Davis.
UC Davis, UNR, DRI, Vell Corporation, Middlebury College.
Middlebury College.
We can go right down a long list. Speak to some of those collaborations.
Yeah, the one, of course, that has a physical presence on the Incline Village campus is our partnership with UC Davis in the Science Center, and I've had a chance to meet with those folks. What a great partnership that is, and one of the things we'll be working on in years to come is to strengthen that collaboration, and that partnership. And
when you
really
say science, what part of science?
It has to do with research involving the lake primarily.
Oh, okay, environmental science.
Lake clarity issues and all of that sort of thing. It's a tremendous facility they have. And the other role that it really plays, they play a huge public service community engagement role, because just in the short time I've been there, I've noticed many student groups, K through 12 groups come through there, and they do programs for children, about the lake and about conservation and about the environment and things like that. So what a great partnership, what a great collaboration that is.
What's fantastic, number one, the Tahoe Center for Environmental Science, the building that you referred to, is a lead building.
That's right.
There aren't that many. And they run TERC, the Tahoe Environmental Resource Center, out of there. And that's a world-class program. That's recognized as such, part of the University of California system.
That's right.
And to have it on your campus and collaborate with UC Davis in connection with that it's a real tribute to Sierra Nevada College.
And you're doing work with UNR as well, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we've got partnerships, and of course Middlebury College with their mid-core program. Yeah, what a huge program that is.
Yeah. Tell us a little about Middlebury, because a lot of our viewers may not be familiar with that.
Yeah, they bring in a program called Mid-Core, which is basically a leadership program. It happens in the summer.
Okay.
This is a collaboration that's been going on for quite some time. And of course, Middlebury College in Vermont is a very prestigious school to be
private,
partnered with. Private as well. Yeah, right, exactly. So that's been a great partnership, along with the UC Davis partnership. Also.
Fantastic.
In Middlebury, although people in America may not know of it that much because it's a small college in Vermont, you wouldn't hear of Middlebury, Vermont, but for the college. But on an international basis, it's probably ranked in the top 5 in the United States.
Was they focused on a business college or what?
No, it's a
classic liberal arts.
It really is. It's a classic liberal arts education, and it covers the spectrum. But those who get in are really top notch from all over the world.
It's highly selective.
Yeah,
it's very difficult.
Very expensive too.
It's about as difficult to get into Middlebury as I think any college in the land.
Talking about something that is expensive or not. How's the tuition into your college there? Is it affordable or what?
It's actually quite a bargain when you consider the kind of venue that the college is located in, and the opportunities not only academically, but in terms of the co and extracurricular activities that it affords our students. I think it's a tremendous bargain. It offers great value for the tuition that students pay to come to Sierra Nevada College.
Is it hard to get in?
You've got to, it helps to be on a college track when you're in high school, and that sort of thing. It wouldn't be as selective as Middlebury, perhaps, but yeah, not just anybody could get in.
Yeah, a lot of scholarships available, or
there are a variety of scholarships available. Some students come in with Pell Grant support. There are internal financial aid opportunities for students as well. There's a number of ways students can figure out how to finance their experience.
Good.
Are you increasing diversity both from an ethnic standpoint and from a socioeconomic standpoint?
The school is actually quite diverse already, particularly when you consider the Reno and Las Vegas centers as well, because there the student population, the demographic profile is quite different than the student profile of Incline Village. You're talking about working adults, you're talking about teachers coming back, future teachers, people changing careers. It's a very different demographic than the Incline Village typical student.
Right.
But even on Incline Village, as you pointed out, we have students from European countries who've come as a result of the ski team. We've got some Fulbright scholars there from other countries in South America, for example, and so forth, and students out of California. So it is quite a diverse campus.
Yeah, it makes it fun.
What are you doing with Vail Corporation? Because that should lead into a hospitality type program of some sort.
Which corporation?
Vail.
Vail. Oh, I'm not certain what our relationship with Vail is currently.
Yeah, they're big in the basin right now. They own most of the ski resorts in the area.
Sure.
So I'm sure they're looking to you guys for.
Well, obviously
help.
we have that great ski management, ski business management program that Tim Cohey heads up, and he's a practitioner as well as a professor in this field. Because he owns his own ski area, China Peak in California.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't Vail own North Star now?
It does.
Do they own Squaw? No,
Squaw.
Squaw as well?
I think so. I think Squaw
Heavenly,
North
at least.
Star.
I know they're involved with Heavenly, too.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Well, it is the dominant corporation in the ski industry now,
Right.
worldwide.
yeah, worldwide, right. So they're planning some big things out here around Lake Tahoe. We got such a history here. Think about Squaw. I mean, the Olympics were here, right?
Exactly,
So,
right.
I mean, what a legacy you have to work with. So great.
Yeah,
move by
I'm
them.
just hoping that everybody's prediction about El Nino comes true.
Yeah, really.
And comes true at the right temperature. I think that's the issue here. We'll probably get the precipitation, but it's got to be at the right temperature.
I have a concern that it's going to be too warm.
I
think El Nino is real,
I think that's a concern. I do too.
but if the temperature's too warm.
I was looking at the extended through the middle of December, and it looked pretty sunny. Pretty sunny, pretty warm.
I have too. Yeah,
I said, it's not looking too good here.
For a ski snowboard mecca, the fact is most days here are very sunny. This is an exception. It's cloudy and overcast today.
We're due.
Yeah,
Yes,
We're
we
due
are.
for
We'll do it.
I just bought my first pair of powder skis, and I'm anxious to try them out. I haven't skied in powder for 20 years. So.
You fat boys?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're big sticks. Big sticks. So.
Oh, Lord. Well, I'd like to explore further some of the collaborations because I think they are so important. What are you doing, not just with UC Davis, but with UNR, with Desert Research Institute?
Well, the person who runs Desert Research Institute, Steve Wells, is on our board of trustees. And on my agenda, I have a visit planned to learn more about the Desert Research Institute. So that's one of the things I'll be doing over the winter, and to learn a bit more about that, their mission, and how we might interact with them. But we also have great partnerships with community colleges.
Yes.
Probably eight or so community colleges, not just the local ones, but also some community colleges elsewhere in Nevada and some in California. And I intend to build on those relationships. I have always had close working relationships with community colleges throughout my career. I'm the product of a community college. My first degree was from a community college, College of Southern Idaho, as I mentioned earlier, in fire science. And I'm not sure we would be having this conversation today if it were not for a community college. So they had a huge impact on my career and helped me really get started from an academic standpoint. And so ever since then, I've had a good relationship with them, and there's some great community colleges around.
I had a question for you. Do you spend a lot of time traveling? I mean, how much time do you spend in administration? Because you're a fundraiser as well, right? You have to make those kind of connections.
Exactly.
So how much time do you, a typical day, how much time is in administration, fundraising, visiting these other campuses, that sort of thing?
Well, one of the interesting things about this profession, being college president, is the days are very varied in terms of how the time is spent. You have to be good at multitasking. You have to be good at prioritizing because there's...
And have a good sports staff around you.
Yeah, exactly. because there's the fundraising element. There's operations of the college. There's that element, alumni relations, board relations that you attend to, these partnerships that you attend.
A lot of meetings.
It's you don't get bored. I tell people I've got some colleagues who I've mentored who are coming up through the ranks. They want to be college presidents someday, and they say, beyond just the credentials, what does it take? What's the key to success? What does it take to be a successful college president? And I tell them, actually that's pretty easy to answer. You have to love it.
Yeah,
it just has to be part of your DNA.
Yeah,
because it's a 24/7, 365-day-a-year gig, and if you just don't love it,
right.
I mean, you got to love it. Otherwise, it's just a lot of work.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Every morning when you wake up, it's got to be something you look forward to doing.
Yeah,
and that you get a lot of reward out of it, and I do. I just love it.
Yeah, when you see the progress in the students, you see the progress in the physical plant,
and that's the thing, especially if you have an opportunity to grow a college or university, which I've had in the past, and I have again now, being here at Sierra Nevada College. You get a lot of satisfaction from that. It never ceases to amaze me how much change takes place from the time someone comes in as a freshman to the time they graduate as seniors. I mean, we are in the business of changing.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of other professions who can claim that.
Right.
And it was an easy transition from my fire service days when we were in the business of saving lives, and that eventually for me transitioned into being in the business of changing lives. Both very
good positive endeavors.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Well, I mean, let's face it, changing lives through academic excellence is a legacy that will never be forgotten by anyone who graduates from the college.
That's right. It's all about helping people become successful personally and professionally. It's about people's futures, and I think that speaks for itself.
Right. And let's hope they stay right here in Nevada.
Tremendously rewarding.
We want those kind of people in Nevada.
We do indeed.
That's right.
We're going to take another break right now, and we'll be right back. Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. Again, welcome back. And we are now going into our last segment of Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. We were talking about some of the programs you have on campus. One we did not yet mention is the Arts and Media program at the Holman Center.
That's right.
Talk about that, because I think that might be really important and something a bit unusual.
Well, because of the generosity of the Holmans and others, that has really been a program that's been strengthened over the years, and now has a physical prominence as part of the campus because of the new building they went into not too long ago.
Right.
And I've had a chance to tour the building and talk to faculty who are teaching in those programs. It really is a strength, and when you think about it, it really fits well with the culture and history of the whole Tahoe region. I don't know if you've had a chance to go down to the Museum of Art, but they have the Tahoe exhibition going on
right now.
And that's all about, it's not just about Tahoe and history, but it's also about art in Tahoe and history.
Right.
And so I think that's a great feature of the college, and
Yeah.
a strength that the college has.
Yeah. Do you have a full studio there? And
We have
what do you
ceramic
do there?
studios there. We've got painting. I mean, you name it when it comes to
TV, radio,
still building
facilities.
that part out, but that'll be
production
become part of it.
studios.
That's right.
Yeah, fantastic. That's
No.
big right now.
Well, another feature that I think to be important is that it's a community outreach program. It's not confined to students, as I understand it. And tell me if I'm wrong. It's open to the community at large.
It is.
Artists
They
that
have a gallery there that's open to the public. And the other thing too is, we're also host to things like Summerfest, which is a huge, performing
wonderful
arts event that runs a week and a half every year. I just missed it this year.
No kidding.
But I look forward to
You
for
missed a
next year's.
wonderful
And
program.
I've talked to some of the board members that run Summerfest and so forth. That's another great partnership. We were talking about partnerships and collaborations earlier.
Yeah.
So things like that bring a lot of culture. And then the guest speaker series, through the generosity of Nancy Benz and her endowment for programs like that, have a huge impact, not just on the college, but bring a richness to the community as well. And that's what colleges do.
Yeah.
And your writing program.
And the writing program, another great program. We've got a guest professor here in our writing program, well known, has a national reputation, has been growing. It's another crown, jewel in the crown.
Yeah, so the community really looks at it as an asset and something to be proud of up here in the lake area.
I think the community does have that view of it, as well it should, and it's a very symbiotic relationship. I think it's great. It has definitely added something to the North Shore.
Yeah, for sure. So what's going to happen in the future? We've had your college on a couple of times, and you've done a great job up till now from where it was. And Omer tells us about it all the time. But what's the future look like? I hope you had that as one of your questions there, Omer, because I'm always curious about what the future is going to bring.
The future is going to bring growth for the institution, not just in terms of size necessarily, but in terms of stature, reputation, awareness, those kinds of things, academic quality, and that's going to happen for 4 reasons. Because we're going to do 4 things very, very well. One, we're building a real team culture at the college. Even in the first month I've been there, we've done some things already that will build that sort of team culture. And I think these 4 things are things that any organization needs to have in order to be successful. And that is a team culture. The second thing is having a good strategic plan is critical.
Yeah.
And knowing how to implement it and knowing how to resource it.
Sure.
Almost every college and university has a strategic plan, but it varies in terms of how well they get implemented, and some don't get implemented at all.
Right.
So one of the things that I've done at the institutions I've been at is help develop strategic plans and then actually implement those strategic plans. So that's the second thing. The third thing is, and Sierra Nevada College already has a solid reputation for this, and that is being very student-centered, being constituency and student-centered.
Good.
And we're in a great position to do that because we have great faculty who get to know their students on a personal basis. Small class sizes. Most of the classes are taught by full-time faculty. I know that sometimes the college experience when you're a freshman is you end up in an auditorium at what I call a big box school, sitting in an auditorium with 200 or 300 other freshmen taking college algebra, social 101. You know the days.
Yeah.
That's not the kind of experience students get at Sierra Nevada College.
That's great.
So when you talk about the value for the tuition that they pay, this is part of that value proposition. So that's the third thing. And the fourth thing is you have to have, in order to be successful, whether it's being an institution of higher education or any other endeavor, I think, is you have to have a passion for it. You have to have a passion for continuous quality improvement. You have to have a passion for being excellent, being top in your field, those kinds of things. So we will do those 4 things very well at Sierra Nevada College, and that's why Sierra Nevada College will be tremendously successful.
Yeah.
We're approved currently under the current regulations to get to a size of about 1,000 students on the Incline Village campus. We're a little over halfway there in terms of the number of students there now. I see us getting to that number. I see us growing in terms of our presence in Reno and Vegas. I see some growth online as part of our strategy overall. Growth in terms of the partnerships. Those are all things that will take Sierra Nevada College to the next level in its ascension as a quality institution of higher education.
Fantastic, yeah.
Again, I think because of the presence of Lake Tahoe and the other opportunities, you've really managed to attract some world-class faculty members. People that probably could go just about anywhere in the land.
That's right. When you look at where they've been educated, they've got some very prestigious credentials from some very, very well-respected institutions from around the country. And they're here for the same reason I'm here, and for the same reason the students choose Sierra Nevada College and staff. They love the culture. They love the lifestyle. They want to be here for reasons that go beyond just sort of the next rung in their professional.
And that's Nevada in general.
That's
you
Nevada
go to
in
Reno, you
general.
hear the same thing.
Exactly.
People were on a trip across country. They come in, and they see the Truckee Meadows, and they said, "This is where I want to be." And it's the biggest little city. You have these big city amenities in a small setting. You can get anywhere in Reno in about 15 to 20 minutes. There's no big traffic jam in the afternoon when you're going home from work. So you have all these beautiful areas around Reno. So that's why people come up here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Reno's success was a feature article on the front page of the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, isn't that amazing? Huh.
What more can you say?
Yeah. Now Tesla sees it and Switch and what is there? 167.
These are exciting times.
Yeah.
No doubt for Nevada.
Yeah.
Well, you brought up something important. You have a very strong entrepreneurial program, very
strong, yep.
very respected.
Yep.
And in fact, even in collaboration with Shanghai University in China. But with Tesla, with Switch, with Apple and others coming in, what are you doing, if anything, to prepare students for those many job opportunities that are going to present themselves as a result of what's happening in and around Reno?
Well, of course, the first step is to identify what those future job opportunities are going to be. Mm-hmm. And to that end, I had an opportunity to go down to UNR not too long ago to listen to a presentation made by Tesla's chief technical officer talking about Tesla and what they were doing and their future there.
Battery science.
And some of their growth in the new gigaplant they're building and all of that, and had some great insight into the kind of talent that they're going to need.
Yeah.
Also had an opportunity to attend a luncheon on the North Shore where they brought in the economic developer out of Reno who was giving us some of that same insight. So I think institutions like UNR, the community colleges, Sierra Nevada College, we will all be looking at where those workforce development needs are and finding where we can contribute and find a niche, each one of us, because we all bring different strengths to the table.
Right.
Sierra Nevada College brings some great entrepreneurial programs, brings some great environmental programs, those kinds of things. UNR with their research, and the community colleges with technical programs.
Correct.
All of those things are needed as Tesla continues to grow and expand, and Reno along with it.
Yeah, the future looks really bright for Nevada.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It's a real success story for the rest of the country, I think, as a model.
Yeah. How about mining? Do you do anything with mining with your college at all? Because that's the legacy of Northern Nevada.
I know it is mining and logging at one point, obviously. We don't do anything with mining. I think we will as we look to expanding the curriculum, we'll be leveraging strengths we already have and building off of those.
Sure.
So in terms of various options, in terms of technology, business, professional graduate programs in certain fields are going to be things we will find attractive. I'll give you an example. Just about any school that I know of in the last few that I've been to, I've been very successful with just about any health-related program that gets rolled out as the population continues to age.
You betcha.
Well, and real quickly, because we're about out of time, we sit on the state line with California. We talked about community colleges. There are 209 community colleges in California and over 1,000 school districts. I hope that we have a really effective outreach going into California, especially Northern California, because it's so proximate to the state line here.
Well, we're a Nevada school, and we will always be a Nevada school.
Correct.
Those are our roots. That's our home. But you're absolutely right. Particularly Northern and Central California is a market. We get a significant number of students from the Bay Area. Students who are used to coming up as they've gone through high school, growing up in the Bay Area. They've been coming to the Tahoe region for years for skiing and snowboarding and other things like that. So it makes a lot of sense that they would have some familiarity with and be comfortable with a school like Sierra Nevada College. So
I'm reaching out. I'm going to have to interrupt you because, Alan, thank you so much for being our guest today.
My pleasure.
You bring great pride to Nevada as a new resident of the state. And Hugh Roy, not with us today, and John and Jim Webster all do as well. and it's just been terrific. And so I hope everybody, especially the viewers, have a wonderful day, that they tune in again next week, where there will be another wonderful guest on Old Tales of Nevada, past and present.